I told you I love Coca-Cola.
Okay, here we go. We're doing the ultimate 50mm showdown. This is going to be interesting. Obviously, everything was shot on the trusty BlackMagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K. Still rocking that, don't care about the 6K. We will address that at the end of this video because so many people are asking me about that. Today's video, however, is about comparing all of these 50mm lenses together. Let's start with the one that I wasn't able to use in this test, the Canon FD. What a bummer, man. I bought a dummy adapter because with all of the others, I had no problem stacking a dummy adapter to the Metabones Ultra EF to Micro Four Thirds, except with the Canon FD. So I don't know if it's the dummy adapter I have, this is the KK, you know, FD to EF, or if FDs just aren't able to stack, you know, dummy to Metabones SpeedBooster. I don't know what the deal is. Either way, and then I put it on the camera and it wasn't able to focus. I have read where FDs are a little bit of a bitch to convert, so I can say that it definitely doesn't work with the KK dummy adapter. So I wasn't able to include the Canon FD to this test, which sucks. Anyways, the lens that I was able to stack dummy adapters with was this Olympus OM. This is not a Micro Four Thirds Olympus. This is a vintage Olympus OM lens that I use with an SLR analog film camera. This is a 50mm f1.8 Zuiko or Zuiko, I don't know. It is a OM to EF dummy, and then I stacked it on the Metabones EF to Micro Four Thirds Ultra. It has some really nice looking bokeh, as you will see. Chris Ratchford, our buddy that sent the SLR Magic 25mm. I've already compared this to the Rokinon. If you have not seen that test, here's a link, there's a link, there's links everywhere, folks. I would encourage you to check that out, and if you're interested in seeing how the Cine Rokinon DS 50mm 1.5 stacks up against the SLR Magic Cine Hyperprime. We did them again with this test. The reason why is I wanted to see how these stacked up to these other vintage primes. And one not so prime is because, you know, some of you know, you follow this channel, you know that I am gearing up looking for lenses to use on the feature film that we are shooting in November. So I use these and then also put a Tiffen quarter black Pro Mist filter on these in the test as well. So you get to see how that goes. Chris Ratchford, he sent in the SLR Magic, and then he also sent in this interesting lens, the Helios 44M4, folks. I see I got you excited, but it's not what you think it is, because it's not what I thought it was either. Now, I used to own 4 Russian lenses. I had a little Russian kit back in the day when I shot on the original BlackMagic Pocket Cinema camera, the old sweet Super 16, which that'll be an interesting feature when they throw that update into the Pocket 4K. Anyways, my Helios was the 442, all metal, built like a tank, had a declicked aperture, and so did the Jupiter, 85, and so did the Mur 37. I also had the 16mm Zenitar or something like that, fisheye. Pretty insane lens. That one was not declicked, however. Anyways, this is not declicked. This is half plastic. 44M4, no character in this lens whatsoever, not compared to the Helios 44 II. Chris got this from VidAtlantic, so they hard mod an EF mount on here, and then they put their own little interesting oval bokeh anamorphic in there as well. The bokeh does look cool, but that's about all that looks cool on this Helios 44 M4. I would stay away from these ones, folks. Chris, sorry to be shit-talking your lens so much, but not a fan. You should sell this and get a real Helios 44 II. Those are the bad boys. One of the things that I am excited to share with you guys, you may have already saw it on my Instagram, @JPOnFilm. That's where you can see what I'm shooting in the real world, what I make money on to keep doing these videos. Yeah, follow over there. You may have already known that I started collecting Contax Yashica Legacy Zeiss T-Star lenses. Now, the two that I came across, I'm gonna tell you how this all started. I was looking around on the internet, like I do, and I stumbled upon this Metabones CY2MFT Ultra Speed Booster, a Contax to Micro Four Thirds Speed Booster. I did not know they ever made such a thing. A guy was selling it. It's in mint condition. I said, holy crap, I gotta go check that out, because I have been researching legacy lenses for a couple years now, and he also had this Contax Planar 50mm f1.4. This is the MMJ version. If you don't know anything about Zeiss legacy lenses, the MMJ versions are kind of the creme de la creme. You can also find out more at the Red User Zeiss Contax shopper guide. It's a pretty interesting read. I had to read that thing about 10 times over the span of 3 years before I fully comprehended what was going on in that thing, and it wasn't until I actually even bought this particular MMJ lens that it all finally clicked. But as you all know, I'm a little slow. If the last aperture number is green, you should definitely get it, because that is a rare one. Those are the MMJs, folks. Now, something I found really interesting is that the MMJs are Japan, and then they have AEGs, and the G is German. Now, the AEGs were all prior 1984, so they're older, and they're from Germany. However, those aren't the ones that are nearly as expensive. They're not nearly as rare and sought after. Actually, the newer ones made after 1984, the MMJs, which were made in Japan, J for Japan, and they have the green aperture. The last number is always green. Those MMJs are the ones you want to get. And I didn't really know about that until I saw this bad boy, and I went to try it out, and I ended up walking away with this combo, the Contax Metabones Ultra and the Zeiss MMJ 50mm 1.4, and now I am on the journey, folks, of creating a custom cine set of all Contax Zeiss T-Star coatings, a beautiful, beautiful lens. And another local DP in LA had this Contax Zeiss zoom lens, and I thought, hey man, it'd be really cool, novelty I guess, just to have a random zoom in with my primes that I'm building. So I went and checked this out, and this bad boy is nuts. This is the Vario Sonnar Zeiss 28 to 85mm 3.3. This is a push-pull zoom, really nuts. It's really hard to focus this thing, the push-pull, I'm just not used to it. But I've only had this for a couple days, but I threw this in the test anyways, just so we could check it out, see how it performs at the 50mm range. This is an MMJ as well, so I was like, holy cow, I got it for like a third of the price. If you don't know about this lens, I'm gonna put a link down in the description below. There are crazy good reviews about this lens, and they're still available on eBay for like pretty cheap compared to all the other Contax. I know it's a zoom, but man, it performs really well. Just go read the reviews. You'll be like, what? And yeah, and it's pretty badass. So I threw that in the test as well. I'm only gonna address this because people have been asking me why I haven't made a video about the 6K yet, my thoughts on the 6K, will I be getting one? And I think you can tell from this video that you just watched that where my passion and energy is going to right now. It's going into lenses, finding the perfect lens set. I say perfect as in, you know, that's a throwaway, obviously. I'll never find the perfect lens set, but I'll just say the perfect lens set for now, right? Camera, I'm not interested in. I don't care. I'll tell you, I went through 3 emotions while I was watching that little BlackMagic YouTube video premiere live while it was happening. And when they announced the 6K, I'll tell you the 3 emotions I had in the order that I had them. The first one was, what? Quickly followed by anger, I can't believe it. I've only had the 4K since February. And then it was instantly followed by, who gives a fuck? Like, I just don't care. I really don't, folks. I'm thinking about it and going, well, I already have EF mount because I have the Metabones Ultra. I have a Super 35 sensor. Not too concerned about the sensor or the mount. I solved that problem immediately. And I guess the resolution's cool, but I have never been asked to deliver anything in 4K. I don't do anything in 4K. All of my timelines are in 1080. There was only one project in the past 3 years that actually needed 4K, and that was because it was a Netflix pilot. So there you have it. But I wasn't even, you know, I was just literally a day player camera op on that pilot, so that was beyond me. But usually, no, I have never had to deliver anything in 4K. I shoot everything in 4K, don't get me wrong, because the 4K will give you the highest resolution. I just have no desire to get the 6K. I mean, if you look at something like the Alexa, the Airy held off on 4K for a long time, and there's a reason behind that. You know, it's not always about the highest resolution. If you guys follow my channel, you already know that I'm more, in the past few months, I've been focusing on lighting and lenses, and that's just where all of my energy is going at this time. I'm happy with the 4K. I was super pumped when it was announced. Took me a while to get it, but I got it, and yeah, it is what it is, folks. I don't care about it right now. Maybe one day eventually, once I get all my lenses, but by then they'll probably have a BlackMagic Pocket Cinema Camera 8K, and oh, it'll be all crazy, you know. I'm just not concerned with camera right now. I'm happy with this one, and life will go on. I'm just letting you know, guys, it's not about the resolution, and the cameras, they're cool, but they're cheap and they're not that amazing, you know. So that's what I'm looking at too. It's just a low budget camera. I don't care if it's 6K, 4K, no K, whatever. I'm happy with what I got, you know. And also, as soon as you buy a camera and you open it up, it's done. You immediately lose the value that it's worth. Lenses are the other way around. I mean, especially if you're talking about Contax Zeiss lenses, just Google the MMJ Contax Zeiss lineup. Those lenses are pricey. It's gonna take me forever to collect the ones I want. The ones that I want are over $1,000 each. At the end of the day, that is cheap for lenses, but not for a guy like me, you know? So it's gonna be a process. And these things are old. You're talking about decades old. So it's something I can build. This set I will have. I can pass it down to my family members when I die. The price is just gonna go up. Meanwhile, these cameras are gonna be worth nothing when I'm old. You know what I mean? I say it once, I say it all the time. You date your cameras, you marry your lenses. So that's just the path I'm on right now, and I just urge everyone to do the same. If you guys follow the channel, you know I was laughing immediately as soon as the 6K was announced here in LA. Literally 6 to 8 4Ks went on Craigslist, Facebook Market. They were popping up everywhere, and they're still popping up everywhere. And guess what? Now what I see, guys here bought 3 or 4 6Ks at once, and now they're selling them for over $3 grand for the BlackMagic 6K. It's crazy. It's this camera craze culture, and it's ridiculous. It's not gonna help anyone, but I get it. It's a gear. You guys are hooked on gear like crack. I get it sometimes too, but right now the camera is not my crack. The lenses and figuring out how to light properly is my crack. As always, thank you for watching. Feel free to hit that subscribe button if you've never seen any of my videos before, because this is just an online journal of my filmmaking career here in Los Angeles. As always, till next time, that's a wrap.